I'm going to show how to use the new version of Protege to do the difference of two ontologies. I'm going to take the Chebby example as an example. So the Chebby ontology, it's going to take a little while to load. It takes about 15-20 seconds. And that's important because this is an important part of the difference between calculating the differences I will show in a minute. So say I want to compare, this is version 82. I want to compare this to the Chebby version 81. You can see I've been using a Chebby to do some testing. Um, if I'm going to be doing anything more than trivial with the difference, I usually will open the original ontology in a separate workspace because I think it helps me understand the differences, and I make a reasonable attempt to find refactor operations. Um, the bottom level, the apply all algorithms, is a little bit aggressive. So now I click OK and I calculate the difference. The difference is calculating. The first step here that it has to do, a significant amount of the time taken to do the difference, is loading the other version of the ontology. It has to read it in, and then it will start the difference calculation. And when it does the difference calculation, it looks both for changes to various entities, but it also looks for entities that had their name changed. And I will show an example of an entity that had its name changed in a little bit. So it's still trying to load the ontology. It's loaded it. Now it's actually calculating the difference, um, working through the algorithms. So it calculated the difference in about 16 seconds. That's actually, for difference engines, that's a long time. And I had to move this into our frame, but here's a list of all the ontology differences it calculated. Found 189 entities created, 8 entities deleted, that's interesting, 3 entities renamed, and 788 modified only. Now, one of the things that's nice about this tool is it'll actually find renamed entities, and so I'm going to go straight to those. So these are in alphabetical order. It shows the created guys, the deleted guys, and it shows, be interesting, modified guys. I'll come back to modified in a minute. So let's take one of these. Now, let's put these two ontologies. This is, okay, well, there's 3 windows. I should tell you this first. So there is this window that I had to move into frame, which shows a table view of the ontology differences. There is the original workspace over here, which is the original workspace, the original ontology that we had loaded when we started the diff. And then there's this thing, which is the workspace for the ontology that we're comparing to. And I put them also during the classes tab because I think it'll make it a little clearer what happens when I synchronize. So now I click the synchronizing button to make this synchronize because I have a question that came up when I look at this. It looks like I say that this thing is being renamed, but the display name for this class hasn't changed, and so I'm wondering what's going on with that. And so I put the thing over here and I do the text. This is on the original ontology, and the tooltip shows that this is in oboe library / oboe. So let's see what the tooltip says for this guy. Okay, the namespace is the same, but actually the number 23062 has changed. And so it is a real rename operation. Now, it turns out that I know something about the Chebby ontologies. They keep track when they actually change the numeric identifier for something. They have this thing, the alt ID, which points to the previous number. And so here we have this one. The name is 3523. It has an alt ID which says that the previously in another version of this ontology it was Chebby 23062. which is what this guy is over here. The full name down here is 23062. And so you can see that for this thing, this is true that it's been renamed. The display name for the class hasn't changed, but the real name for the class, the underlying IRI, has changed. And in addition, this has the changes, other changes that were made. Um, it has a new superclass. That's interesting. Um, they added the alt ID, and they added nothing's been deleted. So what this means is that the old superclass is still going to be there in this ontology. So let's go have a look. Yes, so it now has two superclasses. When you looked in the ontology differences, you saw that there was added a new superclass, this whatever this thing is called, and there is added annotations. So the alt ID annotation was added to say, well, this new guy used to be called this, and a definition has been given to it, which we can see over here. A definition which didn't exist in the previous version. In the previous version, it only had the label. So I'm going to go choose a guy up here. Let's say we choose this guy, Valerate, something that's modified. In this case, an axiom that was in the previous ontology. It's a subclass of is conjugate base of some pentanonic acid. Excuse me, I don't know what any of these things mean. So over here, it's this axiom. It's going to get removed, and it doesn't show up in the new version, in the latest version. It's not here. There's only 3 superclasses, whereas here there were 4. So that's how you use the ontology difference engine, and the GUI will get improved in later releases, and but you can use it. I've used it. I've used it to compare ontologies in several cases. I've used it to test software that I have, where I do the diff of 2 ontologies to see if the code that generated the second ontology did it correctly. And I believe this is already a practical tool. The UI needs improvement. This is based on Protege 3 prompt, and it doesn't have all the algorithms that Protege 3 prompt has. But I think it is already a useful tool. Thank you very much. I hope this was a useful demo.